Now at 9, we are tracking a winter storm that will start to affect us as we head into the weekend. Thunderstorms, freezing rain, sleet, even some snow. We're going to break down for you.
Plus, a Miami woman was told she had to leave her home with only 2 weeks' notice. And
President Biden and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin have their second high-stakes phone conversation in a month. I'm David Spunt in Washington with more on that call coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dow Quick. The new year is almost here and it'll start with some icy conditions. Let's go straight to meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, this winter has been a piece of cake so far. We've had above average temperatures. We haven't had one Arctic blast. We haven't had any snow, any ice, nothing so far. But as we head into the weekend, things are going to change. Most of this wintry weather is going to be along and north of Interstate 44. If you live south of Interstate 44, we're talking mainly rain, but everybody's going to turn much colder by the time we head into the new year. For us today, it was chilly. It wasn't bad. It's 35, 53. Our average high is 45 degrees. We have some clouds which have been increasing over the past several hours, but our main storm system now kicking out into the southwestern parts of the U.S. and it will start to head toward us over the next couple days. Mainly upper 30s to near 40. We're pretty much at our overnight low. We'll start to rise from this point on. We're going to break down the forecast for you here in a bit.
See you then. As temperatures begin to drop, energy prices are on the rise. Every state offers some sort of assistance with heating bills for households that meet certain income guidelines. The online application period is open now in Missouri, remains open until March. Oklahoma began accepting applications just this week, and Kansas accepts applications beginning this coming Monday. The income guidelines for eligibility vary from state to state. You can find a link for more information at koamnewsnow.com. Just search under the word heating. A Miami family's Christmas plans were ruined this year when they say their landlord decided to evict them out of the blue. Now they're scrambling to pack up and find a place to live. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has that story.
Denise Wyrick was getting ready to celebrate Christmas with her family when she received some heartbreaking news.
Got a knock on the door of the evening. My son answered it, my daughter, and there was a man, and he gave him this letter for me, which was an eviction notice, and my son read it and he said, "What's going on?"
It was Wyrick's landlord, who she barely knew, telling her she and her family would need to vacate their home in 2 weeks.
He says, "Well, I got evicted out of my house 2 days ago and been living in the car, and you kind of got the short straw, and this is what it is."
Now Wyrick and her family are scrambling to find a new place to live before they are evicted.
I don't know, but I've been packing frantically since I got this notice. My daughter took down the Christmas tree. She's bawling her head off. On the very day he got this notice, she went ahead and took it down because there was no point in it. Our holidays were ruined. We're not having holiday. We're not having Christmas. We're not having New Year's. We're nothing. You know, it's done.
According to Oklahoma law, if you are terminating a month-to-month lease or evicting a tenant for any other reason than breaking a lease, you must give them a 30-day notice to move. Wyrick's landlord only gave her 14.
It's not even legal, is wrong. It's kind of cruel, actually, especially when they have a child. And you know, Christmas is really for the children, and he stole her holiday. He stole her Christmas. You know, this is something she's never going to get back. And it just makes me sad. I have been looking everywhere. I've been looking in all the surrounding areas.
She tells us she's gone to the city's court clerk, who repeated the state's eviction law. Now, she says she's just looking for a place that will take her. In Miami, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Wyrick tells us she plans to challenge this eviction with the county court. KOAM reached out to her landlord, who did not respond to us for this story. A Golden City, Missouri substitute teacher faces a sex crime charge. That teacher is 22-year-old J.C. Bain Stahl. Jasper County prosecutor charged Stahl with sexual contact with a student. A probable cause statement says the two exchanged text messages and had sex in the victim's home. You can learn more about this case on our website. That's koamnewsnow.com. 2 Kansas women are dead after a fiery crash on Interstate 44 in Oklahoma. That crash happened last night. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol isn't providing much information about what led to the crash, but we do know that it killed Melanie Harper from Basehor, Kansas, and Elizabeth Craighead from Leavenworth. They were both in a pickup. The driver of a semi-truck was admitted to a Springfield hospital in what authorities describe as critical condition. President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin wrapped up their second conversation this month. Their call was initiated by Mr. Putin, even as U.S. and Russian officials plan to meet in Geneva next month. Reporter David Spunt is in Washington with more on that, as well as the buildup of Russian troops along the Ukraine border.
President Biden wrapping up the end of 2021 with a high-stakes phone call, a conversation with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, their second call this month. The discussion, requested by Putin, comes amid mounting concerns Russia has been building up its military presence on the Ukrainian border, stoking fears of a potential invasion.
There's speculation that potentially it's because Putin wants to de-escalate the situation, or potentially the exact opposite, that he wants to lay out a list of aggressive demands.
President Biden says he's pushing for a diplomatic solution to the crisis in Ukraine. He says he warned Putin in their video conversation earlier this month the U.S. is prepared to respond with severe sanctions and other measures if Russia should invade.
I made it very clear. If in fact he invades Ukraine, there will be severe consequences. Severe consequences.
Yet, since that call, there have been no signs of de-escalation on the Ukrainian border.
We have to support the sovereignty of Ukraine.
Meanwhile, Russia is demanding guarantees NATO will never offer membership to Ukraine or place forces or weapons in former Soviet states.
Ukraine doesn't even have a seat at the table, and Russia is demanding that we guarantee that they never join NATO.
The topic of Ukraine is expected to be raised again next month in Geneva when U.S. and Russian officials meet face-to-face. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Since joining the U.S. Army in 1990, Lieutenant Colonel Lance Turlington has served in Iraq, Bosnia, and Kuwait. The Afton, Oklahoma native earned a number of medals, including a Bronze Star. And we're proud to salute Lieutenant Colonel Lance Turlington, a four-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later it's championship night at the Neosho Holiday Classic. We'll have highlights in sports.
Good luck trying.
Well, we are going to start to warm things back up as we head into Friday for the last day of 2021, and then, of course, slam right down as we head into 2022. So showers, thunderstorms start to pick up tomorrow evening. Rain, freezing rain, sleet on Saturday. A few snow showers Saturday night. Arctic blast. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. We do have some clouds out there, but temperatures kind of cold, sitting at 38. We're at our overnight low. We're going to actually rise probably near 50 by the time the morning hours roll around. So temperatures will start to climb from this point on. A few little clouds kind of sneaking in, thicker clouds once you head down through Oklahoma and parts of Texas as our main wave right about San Diego. So just to the west of San Diego, it's going to slide out into the Central Plains. The Arctic air is building up across the northern parts of the Rockies, stretching north into Canada. All right, let's go through time through the overnight hours for us tonight. Temperatures warm. We warm through the 50s into lower 60s during the afternoon. So here's your day planner. We start at 45, 60 by noon, 64 during the afternoon. It is going to be kind of windy. Southerly winds at about 10 to 20. Showers, thunderstorms start picking up tomorrow evening, mainly in our southern counties. So this is 9:30. So most of us are going to be dry through the evening, but rain really increases by the midnight hour. Here's about 12:30 where you start seeing pink in our northwestern counties. That is freezing rain, and then heavy pockets of rain through the overnight hours. Heavy pockets of freezing rain from Nevada, Fort Scott, Parsons, Iola, Chanute, Yates Center, and then as we go into Saturday morning, you can see that freezing line starting to inch farther south. So here's 6 a.m. And then let's go to about 8:30 or 9. You can see the freezing line now pretty close to the I-44 corridor. And then once we get to about the noon hour, the heaviest moisture will be out of here. So that's why I'm not expecting it to be too bad through the metro, just because most of the heavy precip is gone. But really from the metro north, we're going to have a lot of slick spots across the region. Saturday afternoon, we just kind of go into drizzle, light sleet showers, and that will be freezing drizzle, and even a few snow showers by the time we head into Saturday night. So most of the accumulation, I-44 north, this is mainly freezing rain from Joplin to Nevada over toward Parsons, a glaze in the southern sector, upwards of 1/4 of an inch in the northern sector, so this does include Pittsburgh, and then our northwestern counties, mainly sleet, and upwards to an inch of sleet, which is a lot of sleet, and then snow stays to the north of that. As we go into Saturday night, on the backside of the system, we'll get a weak little wave that will give us some light snow showers, and we could even get some minor accumulations from that as well, and that would be for everyone Saturday night. 64 tomorrow, we drop into the 20s on Saturday, down to 9 Saturday night. Those morning snow showers on Sunday, and a high of only 24 degrees.
Slick roads and very cold, bitterly cold. Not a good combination.
No, it's not.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, President Biden asks the Supreme Court to weigh in on the controversial Remain in Mexico policy put in place by the Trump administration.
A stolen...
The governor of Colorado today reduced the sentence for this man, a truck driver convicted in a deadly crash, from 110 years to 10 years in prison. Rogel Aguirre Maderos was sentenced after the brakes on his truck failed and he crashed into several vehicles, killing 4 people. The judge in the case found 110 years was the minimum sentence based on state law. Millions of people called for a sentence to be reduced, and some truck drivers boycotted the state in response to the sentence. The Biden administration is ramping up its push to end President Trump's Remain in Mexico policy tonight by asking the Supreme Court to weigh in. Critics are warning that if the administration is successful with its plan to end that policy, the effects at the southern border could be devastating. William LaJeunesse reports.
My administration has ended catch and release.
President Trump implemented his Remain in Mexico program in 2019 to stem the flow of Central Americans.
If you come illegally, you will now be promptly removed from our country.
The policy required migrants to remain in Mexico until a judge heard their asylum claim. Now, that could take months, even years, which is one reason why President Biden reversed it.
We also have to get at the root problem of why people are fleeing, particularly to our southern border from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador.
Monthly border apprehensions have more than doubled since Biden took office.
I immigrated because I believed in his promises.
After Texas sued, a federal judge in August reinstated Trump's migration policy, MPP. Now Biden wants the Supreme Court to overturn it, saying MPP is not the best tool for deterring unlawful migration. It exposes migrants to unacceptable risks and detracts from the executive's foreign relations efforts to manage regional migration.
The Biden administration has announced some steps it will take to try to make things safer.
Migrant advocates call MPP inhumane. Most border agents do not.
Every single U.S. citizen should be furious about the actions of this administration, trying to overturn a policy that has been proven to work.
The fight is really over asylum. Biden believes migrants are entitled to remain in the U.S. after filing a claim. Trump, after watching thousands ignore deportation orders, made it harder.
If they're not going to embrace MPP and they're not going to implement policies that we know work, then they need to come up with another solution.
Government figures show under President Trump, of 68,000 asylum seekers enrolled in the program, only 723 received asylum. Half lost their case or never showed. The other half had pending claims when Biden terminated the program. In Los Angeles, William LaJeunesse, Fox News.
Still ahead, Americans opened their wallets for the holidays.
It was a great Christmas out here at the mall, spending up 8.5%. The problem is a lot of us had to go into debt to make that happen. I'm Jeff Flock at the Park City Mall in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I'll have the full story coming up.
Browning Warehouse.
The last economic report of the year is out, and it has more good news. According to the Labor Department, first-time filings for weekly jobless claims fell by 8,000 to 198,000 last week. That was better than expected and is close to the lowest level in more than 50 years. Americans are on track to end the year with more than $70 billion in credit card debt after spending more than they actually had this holiday season. Reporter Jeff Flock has details on this holiday hangover.
Strolling through the Park City Mall here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, was a good Christmas here and at other malls around the country, but the problem is a lot of us went into debt in order to make that happen. Take a look at the numbers from Wallet Hub. They say this year 36% of Americans went into debt to finance Christmas. That compares to just 31% a year ago. Fortunately, the debt was a little bit smaller, about $1,200+ this year compared to $1,300+ last year. But a lot of us did it in a new way, something called BNPL, something called Buy Now, Pay Later. These are firms that allow you to get the item that you want up front and then pay for it over time. Not a credit card, but they just basically spiel out your payments over time. A number of these firms are now under investigation by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They include Affirm, Afterpay, the Swedish firm Klarna, as well as Zip and PayPal. Retailers, of course, like the concept because it enables people to have something sooner than they otherwise would and get paid, and the retailers get paid up front. We talked to the founders of Ledbury, the noted shirt makers. Here's what they said.
I think it is helpful for some people that are maybe making like larger purchases. If they're coming to Ledbury and they're rekitting out their wardrobe for the year, maybe they wouldn't buy 6 or 7 shirts all at once, but with the sort of option of buy now, pay later, they might do that.
Some pressure on retailers, though, in the form of those dreaded returns. A lot of retailers extended the period of time in which consumers could return their purchases. For example, the folks at Nordstrom Rack, 45 days, Nike extended it to 60 days, and Macy's, Walmart, and Saks up to 90 days. Unfortunately, the number of returns is predicted to be an all-time record this year, perhaps as high as $114 billion. That is an increase in the number of returns by between 24 to 27%. So, good news and bad news at Christmas from the mall, Park City Mall, here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Back to you.
A zoo in the Netherlands welcomes a new member, a baby manatee. Aw, we're going to learn about the newborn calf next.
Nominate your
It turns out some babies come in extra large. A zoo in the Dutch city of Arnhem today welcomed a newborn manatee, a marine mammal native to the Caribbean. Zoo staff think it's a bouncing, bubbling baby boy, but it's too early to tell, and the not-so-little guy seems to be healthy. They say he immediately surfaced to breathe before reaching for mother's milk. Eventually, he'll transition to the diet his mom and dad eat at the zoo, mostly endive, spinach, and broccoli, and a whole lot of it. These things eat about 150 pounds of food per day. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Advice from an area therapist about sticking to your New Year's resolutions.
With a record number of COVID cases hitting the U.S., Americans are anxious to get tested for coronavirus. I'm Aisha Hassani in Washington. Plus, what the FDA could soon be authorizing. Coming up.
We're here to help.
The Carthage Chamber of Commerce today said goodbye to its president. Mark Elliff is leaving the chamber after 9 years. The chamber celebrated Elliff's time with the chamber with a reception today. He says he still plans to be involved with the community he served for the past several years.
It's a little bittersweet from that, going from where you're really involved to where you won't be as much involved. But it's really nice to see the people that have turned out to wish me well, and I really appreciate it.
Elliff says retirement will involve some more fishing, golfing, and spending time with his granddaughters. Congratulations. 2022 is almost upon us, and millions of people will make resolutions on what they want to accomplish in the new year. Many will abandon those resolutions before they're complete. However, there are some tips to help you stick to those resolutions. According to Jenny Copeland from the mental health service Hope Spring in Joplin, one way is to set a resolution that you're passionate about.
Coming from a place of, I think, caring and self-compassion is a lot more powerful for our health. And we have pretty good research on this, that if we're coming out of a place of kindness, but also joy, doing things that we enjoy and we love and are going to make us happy and feel good, those are the things that we keep around longer.
And to dig in.
You can watch more of our interview with Copeland on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. COVID-19 cases are rising during the holiday season. If you think you might be sick, well, there are some local options to get tested free of charge. The Joplin Health Department hosts a free testing clinic at the Joseph Newman Innovation Center every Thursday. The Wesley House in Pittsburgh also offers free testing. You can find other locations on your state's health department website. The CDC says no one should be taking a cruise right now, regardless of their vaccination status. The agency increased the risk level for cruise ship travel to its highest level. The industry has seen a recent increase in cases of the Omicron variant on board cruise ships. If you do go on a cruise, they recommend you are fully vaccinated and have received a booster shot. The U.S. is facing a surge of coronavirus cases heading into the new year. Health officials reported 1.9 million new cases, which amounts to 3 Americans testing positive every second. Doctors said the Omicron variant is the driving factor, but so far, many are encouraged that the symptoms for those who are vaccinated and boosted are relatively mild. And now the FDA is reportedly ready to make some changes regarding booster shots. Reporter Isaiah Hasney has the latest from Washington.
With 2021 coming to a close, many Americans are bracing for more uncertainty heading into the new year now that coronavirus cases are once again on the rise. Many testing sites around the country are overwhelmed, some people waiting several hours just to get swabbed. In Florida, a line of cars stretched into a residential neighborhood.
Honestly, it's just been terrible. The traffic is horrible.
Health experts, meantime, are encouraged that so far the Omicron variant appears to bring milder symptoms than other strains.
While there is a slight rise in hospitalizations, that's being driven by the sheer high transmissibility and contagiousness of this variant, not because it is a more virulent or severe strain.
The White House COVID-19 response team continues to make the case that being vaccinated and boosted is the best protection against hospitalization. The FDA is now reportedly gearing up to authorize booster shots for immunocompromised children ages 5 through 11. The agency also plans to shorten its recommendation for Pfizer booster shots for adolescents and adults to just 5 months instead of 6.
In this, the most contagious part so far of the pandemic, is essential that children in that age group get boosted.
It's likely the record number of cases is much higher than reported, with many Americans untested, while others test at home but don't report those results to health officials. In Washington, Aisha Hasni, Fox News.
A jury has found a multinational pharmaceutical company liable for the decades of opioid addiction and deaths in New York State. Jurors ruled that Teva Pharmaceuticals created a public nuisance through its manufacture, sale, and distribution of opioids and found the company responsible for its role in the state's drug epidemic. A bit later, we're going to break down the top caught on camera moments of 2021, from animal encounters to dramatic rescues.
The hardest part of
Not too bad for us today, even though it's kind of chilly across the region. We're actually going to warm up quite a bit for us tomorrow, but we're tracking showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night, freezing rain, sleet on Saturday. Some of you will just be rain, and then Arctic air is going to roll in by the time we head into the weekend. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. 38 right now. We're at our overnight low. We're actually going to start to rise. In fact, I think we're going to be near 50 by dawn. We do have some clouds which are starting to increase ahead of our next storm system, which is now rolling out of Southern California, entering parts of southern Arizona, and that's the one that will start to affect us as we head into the weekend. For us tonight, just clouds increase, temperatures warm. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, we're actually going to go into lower 60s for highs, so it looks pretty good. It's going to be a little windy, southerly winds at 10 to 20, 45 by morning, 60 by noon, high temp right around 64 during the afternoon. As we go through the evening hours, scattered showers and thunderstorms start developing in our southern counties. By midnight, most of us are going to start getting rain. Northern counties, freezing rain. Really picks up after midnight. Periods of heavy rain across a good chunk of the region, but once you get north of Nevada to about Girard to Parsons over toward Neodesha, this is all going to be freezing rain. Let's work through Saturday morning. Bands continuing to roll through. So here's 6 a.m. As we go to about 8:30 or 9, you can see that freezing rain line trying to get into the metro, but majority of this system is just rain in the metro. But once you get to Pittsburgh, it's all freezing rain. Parsons, freezing rain. Fort Scott, Nevada, Chanute, all this is freezing rain, and then turns over to sleet in our northwestern counties. The heaviest of the moisture is going to be out of here by about the noon hour. Then most of us will just go to freezing drizzle, a little bit of light sleet showers, spitting a little bit of snow, but there is another little wave that is going to rotate in Saturday night that will give us a little light snow showers. So most of the ice really from I-44 north. If you live south of I-44, we're just getting rain. Very light glaze through the metro, and it gets a little heavier as you go a little farther north towards Pittsburgh, Girard, over toward Parsons. Then mainly sleet. Yates Center, Fredonia, Iola, and Chanute over toward Fort Scott, and all the snow stays well to the north. But by Saturday night, the backside of this system rotates a weak little wave in that will give us some light little snow showers across the region. Doesn't look like it's going to amount to much, but still some light snow showers. 64 tomorrow. We'll make it an alert day on Saturday just because of the Arctic air, and half the region is going to be getting ice. We'll drop into the 20s down to 9 Saturday night, 24 on Sunday.
I don't like when you have to use the word Arctic in the local forecast.
I know. It stinks.
Thanks, Doug. Some young local artists today put their skills on display. Happy Snappy Art and Paint Parties. A studio in Fort Scott, Kansas hosted a kids' winter art camp. The camp is run all week, and each day the kids painted a different design themed around winter.
Today's painting, if you think, oh, we're going to paint a glass globe and it's going to look round and it's going to look like it's glass, and you're thinking, well, how am I going to do that? But if we break it down into really easy steps and, you know, have fun doing it, and they're amazed.
Happy Snappy is at 702 South National in Fort Scott. Coming up in sports, Neosho and McDonald County square off for a tournament championship at the Neosho Holiday Classic. Plus, the Oklahoma Sooners finished the season with a big win in the Alamo Bowl. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Our winter.
Well, tonight is championship night at the Neosho Holiday Classic. In the boys' black bracket, we have two local teams squaring off tonight for a tournament title. And it's a rivalry game. Tournament host Neosho Wildcats face McDonald County. Picking up right where he left off last night, Brock Franklin knocks it down to get the Wildcats going. Across Dowd, answers with one of his own here. Matt County jumps out to the early lead. Later, Isaiah Green gets the steal. Gets it ahead to Caden Waters. He gets up and puts it down. Then in the second quarter, check out Cole Martin. That's some QB1 stuff. Finished the game with 6 assists. Matt County up 6 at half. But you know these Wildcats. Second half here, Caden Waters buries the deep three. We're tied at 37. Fourth quarter, Waters again, 40-footer. Why not, man? Neosho up 3. Back and forth game. Mustangs get the steal here. Eli McLean gets up for the flush. He had 27 to lead McDonald County. But 2 minutes left. Waters gets another one. 38 points, 12 rebounds for Waters. He is the tournament MVP. Neosho takes home the black bracket championship 70-63. Well, staying in the black bracket, earlier today, Lamar playing for third against the Huntsville Eagles. Lamar falls in this one 71-60. Connor Schaaf, though, nice game for the Tigers, goes 4 for 7 from 3, finishing with 16 points. On the girls' side, the tournament host Wildcats have a shot at finishing third today. Neosho faces the Lafayette Fighting Irish this afternoon, aiming to end the tournament on a high note. And the Wildcats looking to bounce back from a semifinal loss to North Kansas City. First quarter, Talisha Bird, floater and the foul. Irish open on an 8-0 run, and Bird finishes with 13. Other end, Becklin Garrett, corner 3 for Neosho. She leads the Wildcats with 12, but Lafayette up 11 after 1. And they would extend that lead in the second. Darcy Bolin gets the steal, goes the other way and finishes. Then Jaslyn King, right before half, hits the 3 to send the Irish to break up double digits. To the third quarter now, Wildcats trying to stay in the ball game. Malin Garrett scores and the foul, but Lafayette rolls the rest of the way, 51-27. The Pittsburgh State women returned from break last night against Tabor College. The Gorillas rolled by the Blue Jays 86-53 in their final non-conference game of the season. Pitt State had 5 players in double figures Wednesday night. Freshman Sydney Holmes led the way with 12 points and 7 rebounds. Fellow freshman Corinna Gerber collected her first career double-double, 10 points and 10 rebounds. Now Pitt State's 9-3, and the remaining 16 games on their schedule are all MIAA league games.
It's a tough league. You got to give it all 24/7. It's a big transition, from high school. You got to be focused and present all the time, and you got to, everyone can play, so you got to go out there and give it your all.
The Oklahoma Sooners finished up the football season last night. Sooners topped Oregon 47-32 in the Alamo Bowl to finish the year 11-2 overall. It was a big night on the ground for running back Kennedy Brooks. Brooks rushed for 142 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 14 carries. Quarterback Caleb Williams threw for 3 touchdowns. Oklahoma has now won back-to-back bowl games for the first time since 2011. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
From celebrity wedding crashers to naked intruders, technology captured some of this year's can't-miss moments. Reporter Jonathan Hunt has the caught-on-camera highlights.
Even in these turbulent times, there's one thing we can count on. Year after year, people get caught on camera, doing good things, bad things, or just funny things. And 2021 was no exception. Take this 9-year-old boy, for instance, who hitched a ride on an airport conveyor belt. Surveillance footage capturing the moment he hopped on board and calmly made his way through the baggage system. A Florida woman coming face to face with an alligator while paddleboarding. The gator getting close enough to bite the board before swimming away.
Oh man, my stock just exploded!
And no one likes an unexpected party guest. Unless it's a celebrity. Actor Tom Hanks crashed this California couple's wedding ceremony and even stayed to offer the pair marriage advice. Cameras love crime, and they captured a lot of it too. From high-speed car chases to the persistent porch pirate.
Who is it?
This naked intruder caught trying on clothes in a Southern California home.
What are you doing here? I'm gonna call the police right now.
Things taking a turn when he killed the family's pet birds before being taken into custody by police.
He's got a gun to someone's head.
Frightening bystander video capturing a tense hostage situation at a Los Angeles apartment complex. A man can be seen holding a gun to the back of a woman's head. A SWAT team later entering the apartment, taking down the suspect. And while we saw some of the worst of humanity this year, we also witnessed the best of it too, from heartwarming reunions to dramatic rescues. Like this scene in New York of police officers teaming up to save an infant trapped underneath a car.
I bought a television today because I want to make my wife happy, and I can't get it hooked up.
This Michigan officer pulling over a speeding driver who confessed to having a bad day. Instead of handing out a ticket, the officer followed the man home and helped him hook up his TV.
Hey boy, how's my baby? How's my baby?
And a homeless Vietnam veteran reunited with his lost service dog, Rerun. The family who helped find the pup sending a dog tag and food to the grateful owner. No matter what the new year brings, one thing is for sure. With more surveillance technology expected in 2022, even more buzzworthy moments will be captured. In Los Angeles, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
Coming up, Gordon Ramsay steps back into the studio with a new cooking competition series. We'll preview the show next. Fox's cooking competitions are taking things to a new level with Next Level Chef. Here's Ashley Dvorkin with a preview of the brand new series.
This is Next Level Chef.
There's another Chef Gordon Ramsay addition to the Fox TV menu with Next Level Chef.
A beautiful kitchen on the very top.
3 floors with 3 different kitchens, 1 platform of ingredients, and 1 big showcase of talent.
Amateur chefs, professional chefs, and social media chefs put into one arena. And then we split that team into 3 individual teams. Naisha will mentor one, I'll mentor one, and Richard will mentor one. And then we pit against each other. And we have to stay out of that basement. And then the secret is to climb from the basement to the middle to the top floor.
Next level, next level, next level. I'm looking for ultimately someone who's bringing their authenticity and also someone who's coachable.
I'm looking for a chef that has some natural instinct and also enthusiasm over experience all day long.
Someone who can take advice. I don't need anyone delicate, dainty, and doesn't want to be sort of, put in their place.
Ramsay adds it's good for competitors to show how less can be more.
If you can come up with a great dish with minimal ingredients and cook your way to the top, man, you've got my badge of honor.
It's also about racing the clock to finish a dish, which can add a hefty helping of tension.
When that platform comes down to that kitchen, you've got 2 minutes to finish that dish. 1 second over that, it's gone. So we've had tears, tantrums, we've had food that hasn't made it back onto the platform. That's frustrating.
The winner goes home with $250,000 and the Next Level Chef title. This series premieres January 2nd, then moves to its regular time slot January 5th. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with a video of a rare albino jaguarundi club in Colombia. Let's make it a great tomorrow.